breast cancer diagnosis in 2018. Those experiences gave birth to a new version of her, one that is stronger, more intentional, and deeply committed to helping others heal emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Through her story, she hopes to encourage others to embrace resilience, faith, and transformation in the midst of adversity. Resealia believes pain has a way of connecting us, reminding us that none of us are alone in our struggles. She now uses her voice and story to remind others that some of life's hardest seasons can become the birthplace of purpose, strength, and renewed identity. Can you help me welcome Resealia McKinney?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, welcome to the new birth of me.
Thank you.
Super excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
I want you to talk to me, or talk to us.
Yes.
Multiple, back to back, back to back to back. Cancer wasn't playing.
Cancer wasn't
playing.
It
Talk
was
to
not.
us. What was that like? How were you in the midst of it?
So my husband, he was first diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma back in 2010. And then again in 2012. And we were told that if it came back, he would need to do a stem cell transplant. And so he did that in 2012. And then in 2016, it returned again. And at that time, we had gone down to Moffitt. We had done so many different things to try to really come up with a cure for him. And I remember, they were talking about doing a bone marrow transplant at that time. And we just said, God, we have nothing else. We just got to pray. We just have to believe. And I remember we just said, because the doctors were telling us that if he did the bone marrow transplant at that time, that the likelihood of death would be probable just because of that transplant. Not because of his age. He was otherwise healthy. And again, we just started to pray. And we believed God, and we said, God, we need a miracle. And it was at that time that when he went back in, he did the PET scan, as was routine for him. And the doctor said, it doesn't even look like you've ever had cancer.
Wow.
And this was a time that he had not done any more chemo. He had done so much chemo. Like I said, he had already done the stem cell transplant, and it was a miracle from God. And for me to be able to witness that, I think in some ways it prepared me for what I didn't even know was coming. Because I knew God. And so when I pray and I'm like, God, I know you to be a healer. Now that thing is so deep in my heart. It's, God, I know you to be a healer, because I've seen you heal in ways that we could not even imagine. We had done so many things. Like I said, he had done the chemo, and he had done the transplant, and just so many hospital stays, and just aggressive chemotherapy, and just watching him do that. And I remember even when he did the stem cell transplant, and if you're not familiar with that, what they do is they take all of your good cells out, and then they replace them, right? And so in that process, it almost is like you go back to a baby-like state where your immune system is completely wiped out. And I watched my husband almost literally look like death. And I remember we would have to be gowned up and gloved up and masked. And so nobody really could even come to see him at that time. And, just seeing that, I remember even the signs on the door, of like possible infection and those types of things. So we had to be very clean. So many people couldn't be near him. And I remember even praying, because they kept saying, it's possible that he can have some type of infection. Again, that never happened. During that time, yes, it was hard, and we saw him kind of go all the way down from 0 to 0, but no infection happened at the time, and God was just with us that entire time. And so, yes, it was a journey. When we first found out, I just remember bawling my eyes out. And I remember when the person came in, they had a counselor there at the time, and she thought I was the person that was diagnosed.
Wow.
Because I was crying just uncontrollably. And so, but it was him. And I remember my husband, the first thing he asked the doctor, he says, am I going to die? He said, what is this? And the doctor said, no, no, if you fight this, you can live through this. So they had already kind of given us kind of the game plan of what could possibly happen. But it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard at the time. We were believing God for a child. We were going through infertility at the time, not knowing that, but he was diagnosed, let me go back to stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So we don't know at that time how long the cancer had actually been in his body. I just know that my husband was dropping weight, and I didn't really recognize it at first. You know, you see other people and people are like, you're losing so much weight. But I remember one Sunday we were getting ready for church and he was putting on a black suit, and I'm like, wow, you have lost a lot of weight. And I started to recognize that, and I'm like, we need to go to the doctor. And we just had no idea. No one in our families had ever gone through any type of cancer. When we went to the doctor originally, and then they, referred us to another doctor, we were like, oncology, like, why are we here? And it was because his blood work and everything, it kind of came back alarming. And so when we did that, that's when we found out the news.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. As you're sharing that, the story doesn't end there. You were going through infertility, and I believe a part of your story was that you did become pregnant. I'll let you take it from there.
Yes, I did. So in 2008, this was right before my husband's cancer journey. We did become pregnant. We had been trying. We were married in 2003. And I'll be honest, we didn't want children as soon as we got married. Our goal was, let's become one. And so we wanted to take a year or so to do that. And when the time was where we were starting to try, we noticed that it was not happening. And I would take pregnancy test after pregnancy test, and we would try ovulation kits, and we would try all the different things. And so finally, I remember we were in Walmart one evening, and this lady was like, you were glowing. Like, you look absolutely beautiful. And the very next day, I took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. And we were just so overjoyed and just praising God, because again, it had been years for that journey. And about 6 months into my pregnancy, my water started to break. I remember I was a high school counselor at the time, and I was in the cafeteria doing lunch duty, and I started to feel almost like a trickle. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, this cannot be good. And so I went to the doctor, and, at first they kept saying, but just kind of put on protection like a pad and do those things, because we're just going to watch it. It could just be some type of leak. Then, we went back to the doctor again, and then they, pretty much told us that my water was beginning to break. And I cannot remember right now, unfortunately, the medical term for it. But it was essentially my water was leaking. And we went to this doctor that really had no bedside manners at all. He was, pretty much saying that we needed to abort, that my child would probably not make it. And of course, being believers, we were adamantly against that. And we're going to believe God. And so we did that. And we did that until the very end. And my daughter was born. She lived for 2 days. During her time of living, one of her lungs collapsed because she was born so prematurely. She did not have enough oxygen to her brain. And I'm so sorry. This story still gets me. But she did not have enough oxygen to her brain. And because of that, she passed away. And we love to say that she was with my husband, because she passed away the day after Father's Day. And it was such a beautiful thing that even though her short life, we were able to be there with her. She actually passed away in my arms. And I love to think that at that time, just imagining angels carrying my daughter to heaven. And we still have that belief. In fact, my daughter now, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and we tell her about her older sister all the time. And so it's just a precious thing that we continue to give her life meaning. And so that's the story of Reese Madison. That was her name.
Reese Madison.
Yes.
Reese Madison. I can tell how much that truly touches, still touches
Thank
your
you so
heart.
much.
I was saying earlier that cancer can sometimes overshadow some of the other areas and some of the other experiences that we can have in life. But going through life has layers, right? So our dialogue today is not just about cancer, but loss. Loss is not easy. And sometimes we do pray that we don't have to experience loss, but loss is a part of the journey. We just don't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's painful. One of the things that you did say in your bio is, if I can quote it, you said, pain has a way of connecting us. We like to push pain.
Yeah.
But your pain has connected all of these beautiful women.
Amen. Amen.
I thank you for your tears. And we hold you in this space. That place of pain is connecting.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about what does that mean when you say pain is connecting us?
Absolutely. If we could avoid pain, we would. Right? None of us would sign up for, I want to go through loss, I want to go through cancer, I want to go through divorce, whatever it is that you may be going through. None of us would ever sign up for that. But when we yield to the pain, right? And we're honest and we're open and we're vulnerable about it, because I believe that sometimes we can avoid community just by trying to avoid pain. Right? We don't want anybody to know we're fine, we're strong Black women, we don't want anybody to know what we're going through. But once we yield to that pain and we allow somebody else to come in and walk alongside us in that journey, it has such a beautiful way of connecting us as sisters. And since I've gone through everything I've gone through, I hate surface level talk. Like, don't come talking to me. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I don't want to, I want to know deep. Like, so, but why do you feel that way? Where's that coming from? Right? That's me. And it just has a beautiful way of connecting. I feel like I can get to know a sister so much more when we share our stories with each other. And like you said, it's not all cancer. It could be, I just had a bad day.
Yeah.
Right? I feel frustrated today. My husband is getting on my last nerve today. Whatever it is, when we're able to express that and allow someone else to come alongside us on our journey, it can be such a beautiful, and I have, some girlfriends here, and we have that relationship, and it's so beautiful that you feel refreshed in someone else's presence when you're allowed to be vulnerable in that way. And so that's what I mean when I think of pain having that way of connecting us, when we allow it to.
When we allow it to happen.
Yeah.
So beautiful. One of our survivor sisters, Bridget, actually you connected with her, because that's another part of your story.
It's not boring, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no. It's been a little roller coaster.
Yes.
And it actually connects with what you're talking about when it comes to connecting. I believe Bridget was diagnosed before you.
Yes.
And I love, Resealia said one day, when we were talking, that she had some stuff planned. Her diagnosis came in. She's like, well, wait, doc, I got to go take a trip. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
But talk to me about your conversation with Bridget when you got your diagnosis concerning breast cancer. What happened? That connection again is what?
Absolutely. So Bridget shared her story with me first about her own cancer diagnosis. And at the time, I had already had my referral for a mammogram. And I'll be honest, ladies, I was just scared. I was like, I heard it hurts. I don't want anybody pressing on my breast. I'm just being honest. And so, but once she shared her story, I remember thinking, I have to go get this done. Because she shared that, she had done the genetic testing and no one else in her family had ever been diagnosed with cancer. And I don't want to get into her story. But it led me to go and check for myself. And once I did, I had kind of a very similar situation as Malika. I went and they said, okay, now we have to do an ultrasound. And I'm like, okay. And I, again, didn't think much of it. But I went in to do the ultrasound when I was doing, it was during my work day. And I remember them saying, no, you have to wait in the waiting room for results. And I'm like, I got to go back to work. I don't have time to wait. And they're like, well, no, you have to wait. And so at that point, I'm like, I have to wait for what exactly? Like, why do I need to wait for the results? Like, can't you just do the same thing you already did? Send me a letter or call me? And so, but they said, no, you have to wait. And so I literally had to end up calling my boss to say, I'm probably not going to make it because I was there for hours. And so finally they said, okay, now we have to do a biopsy. And ladies, if you've never had a breast biopsy, it is the most uncomfortable thing ever. It's literally where you lay on your stomach, your breasts are down, and there's a needle in a breast. And it is the most uncomfortable thing that I've probably ever gone through. But it confirmed that I had what they call HER2 positive breast cancer. And so my breast cancer was a result of estrogen. And so I still take, and this was 7 years ago, but I still take 3 months injections where it stops my hormones. And so what it did, while you see this little handy dandy fan, is it put me in an early menopause. And so the sweats come out of, I cannot control them. They just come out. I feel like a heater that comes on. They just come out of nowhere. But so I still do that. I still take a daily hormone medicine. They also suggested for my ovaries at this point, she's like, if you want to stop doing these injections, maybe you should consider getting your ovaries removed. And I was kind of like, that sounds like that may take me from being me, right? And so I love to talk to you, Malika, about that. But maybe that will be an option going forward. But for Bridget and I, it really connected. I ended up going to the same doctor that she recommended. The doctor's excellent. I felt well taken care of. I felt heard. She had amazing bedside manner. She had a plan for everything that I needed to do. And so I really felt like, and I've joked with Bridget about, you just went through this before me, right? Like you did this so that I would know what to do when it was my turn. And so she was extremely helpful with me through the process of going through that, yeah.
It's so beautiful because connecting creates community, creates a safe place, connects connections to other resources and doctors, and because you need that, especially when you're going through any type of situation, you need some expertise that can help settle and really knock fear out of the way. And so connecting in pain has purpose. Connecting in pain brought new relationship, and it comes with a lot of good stuff, right? That you don't have to sit in a silo privately, kind of pitying yourself, right? Because if you don't have connection, you can easily revert to a place of pity and feeling sorry for yourself, and there's nothing to feel sorry about when it comes to being who God has created you to be.
Absolutely.
And so we're excited. Did y'all love Resilia's story? So good. Do y'all have any questions for Resealia that we can ask? Did anything come up for you to share?
Yeah. You have a beautiful 6-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Can you talk about the courage to try again?
Yes, so I have a very unique story with that. Because my husband had gone through cancer, it was difficult for us to have our children naturally. And we, as I said, had gone through infertility. My daughter is adopted. And God led us through that journey. My husband just wanted to be a father. And I remember him stating, I just want to be a dad. It does not matter how the Lord blesses us. I want to be a dad. Amen. But it was me that was, at first, I wasn't necessarily against adoption because we had already said that's something we wanted to do. But after we had our own child. And I remember vividly driving one day and the Holy Spirit said to me, you've already had your own child. She's just with me. And I remembered, and it just brought tears to my eyes. And he said, you are free to adopt. And at that point, I said, okay, God, I hear you. And I went home and I told my husband, I'm like, we can do it. And so we started doing, one of the events that I had when I found out about the diagnosis was a fundraiser for adoption. Because if you don't know, private adoption is very expensive. And so we were doing different fundraiser events. And so I went to a fundraiser event, hosted that. No one had any idea I had just been diagnosed with cancer the day before. I went to Atlanta. I had some things to do, right? I had some things that I needed to do. But to answer your question, it has been such a beautiful journey. And this is so God. People come up to us all the time and say, your daughter looks so much like her daddy. And she absolutely does. If I was to show you a picture, you would never know. God orchestrated that. And in fact, her bio grandmother, when we met, and I can tell this story because it's God, right? Her bio grandmother said, she's gonna end up looking like y'all because my daughter looks like your husband. And she does. And so just a short bit of the story, my sister had a Facebook friend of someone that she graduated from high school with that saw our story on the news. We were on the news because someone had submitted our information to like a pay it forward type of thing. And so because of that, our story was shared. She saw that, reached out to my sister, said, have your sister call me. We called thinking she just wanted to maybe donate to us. And she said, my daughter is very pregnant and we want you guys to be the parents.
Wow.
They're from Tampa, which is where I'm originally from. Her water had broke. They drove over here to Orlando Health after her water broke, right? I walked into a hospital room. This was during COVID. I have never laid eyes on this lady. We walked into a room and she had our child. And it's such a beautiful God story. And so that's how my daughter's here. Yes, yes. This is one of my girlfriends.
But Resealia, I know you're a believer, of course. I remember, you going through all of this. I know having faith for someone else when they're going through is one thing, but then it's a different story when you're going through it as well. So
Yeah.
can you speak to what the process was like, believing in God, having faith for God to heal your husband, versus having God, believing in God to heal, to heal you?
Mm-hmm.
One, and then two, this is for you, and then this is for all the survivors. Do you ever live with the fear that it's going to happen to you?
Oh, so I will answer number 2 first. Absolutely. It is a process. Every year I have to go and get a mammogram. And I'll be honest, my heart drops to the floor because that thought continues to come into my mind. And I'm sure my sister survivors would agree of, I don't want to go through that again. I cannot go through that again. But to start to answer your first question, one of my almost daily prayers is, God, eradicate cancer. I want cancer completely destroyed, not only from me, from my bloodline, from my husband. I want cancer destroyed so that even the very cell of cancer cannot be traced in my body. And so that's one thing. And I clung to James 1:2-4, which is a scripture that says, not if we go through trials, but when we go through trials, count it all joy. Because when we are able to count it all joy, it says that we will be perfected, right? So we will become mature and complete where we are lacking nothing. And so I clung to that scripture. I'm going to be honest, Pam, was it days that it was hard? Yes. But I'll be honest, I never once thought in this journey that I was going to die. That thought did not cross my mind. I never thought that cancer was going to take me out. And I think because, again, seeing the miracle of my husband before that, I think prepared me in a way that I was like, oh, no, God, we got this. We're going to fight this and we are going to live. And so I made that decision that I don't care what it looks like, I'm going to live. And there were some hard times. There were times I remember I had to do a blood transfusion. I remember I was in a hospital for 5 days from having strep throat. I'm like, God, who goes to the hospital for strep throat? But it was because at the time I was going through cancer. They couldn't break 105 fever. I was a mess. But God did it. And so I continued to just believe and believe and believe. And really, I also had to cling to Abraham. It says that Abraham's faith was counted to him as righteousness, right? And so sometimes I had to believe even when I couldn't see it. when I really didn't even want to believe it, I had to say, God, you be in control of this for me. You guide this faith. Help me to have faith even as small as a mustard seed. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I hope that answered your question.
So good. So good. Speechless. Speechless. Speechless.
To God be the glory.
It answers the new birth of me. New birth of me. Is somebody, one more question? Yes? Yes?
If you were to have a sister, close friend, somebody in your life who just received that fearful diagnosis for the first time, what would be your first words of advice to them?
That's good.
It would be my twin friend to the end to put me on the spot. My first words of advice to them will be relax and take it in. Because for me at first, the real reason why I just went back to work is because I tried to avoid what I just heard. And sometimes we have to sit with it. And we have to allow God to be able to minister to us and okay, because one of the things that we often have conversations about is it's okay that you don't know what's going to happen next. God does. And so just relax in that and allow God to order your steps. And so I think that I would say, sister, relax. We're here with you. Sit with that and pray about what are the next steps for you in that process.
So good. So good. Yeah. The new birth of me.
Amen.
Continual births. I mean, in Resilia's story, you can hear the number of times you will birth something, right? The journey of birthing, it's not a one and done. Adversity will cause you to birth or abort.
Come on.
Right? And so there's so much richness. And so I am so excited, so humbled, just to experience and to be sister survivors.
Yeah.
I love how, now you don't surface conversations. Yeah, you hunger for more because
Yeah.
there's so much more to give. So
Yeah.
can we just give Resealia another round of applause?
Yeah.
Thank